In this installment, we're going to be going over rounds 1 through 5 of the guys you do want to draft in your redraft and best ball leagues. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for our due draft list for your best ball and redraft leagues. We're going through rounds 1 through 5, but before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon where we have winning MLB bets. Go to that link down below right now. In round number 1, the guy you must draft this year in your redraft and best ball drafts will be Tyreek Hill, the former Kansas City Chief. And now Tyreek Hill in his new home in Miami had a fantastic year last year in 2022 with Tua Tagovailoa throwing him the football. If you're looking at his last year stats, he had over 170 targets, 119 receptions, 1710 receiving yards, over 2,000 air yards, and complemented that with 7 receiving TDs as well, all right? Those numbers increased from him going to the Kansas City Chiefs offense, going over to the Miami Dolphins offense, okay? So that is a big upgrade there, all right? So you should expect more from Tyreek Hill. And if we're looking at his scoring overall, out of all wide receivers, he finished as the number 2 wide receiver, right behind Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson had 368 total points, as you can see right there. And then Tyreek Hill was right behind him with 347.2 fantasy points per game, averaging 20 fantasy points per game. That is huge. You don't get that very often. Him and Justin Jefferson are an elite company. And right now, Tyreek Hill is coming off the board as the wide receiver 4, all right? So Tyreek Hill ADP is around 6.2. He could fall to 7 to 8. So you have an opportunity to get him. Maybe someone might grab Tyreek Hill. Maybe someone loves Austin Eckler more than Tyreek Hill. So you have the upside of getting him in your first round drafts. I highly recommend you do. He's already talked about he wants to retire after he fulfills his contract. He has high aspirations of being in the Hall of Fame. And you see the upside. If he's going to give it his all for the next 3 years, there's upside for him to have a 2,000-yard receiving year with this Miami Dolphins team. I love him this year. In round number 2, the guy you want to go after will be Saquon Barkley. Current ADP in FFPC is 13.9. In your home leagues, it's going to be lesser. It's going to be around that 15 to 16 range, even a little bit later. All right, there's been a crazy wave of drafts just going wide receiver heavy. And if you're looking at the current ADP of things, people are grabbing A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, all ahead of Saquon Barkley. So you can get Barkley in that second round. He's there waiting for you. And this is what we've been waiting for. If we look at Saquon Barkley's previous stats here, this is what we've been waiting for. We had to suffer through 2020, which was an injury-prone year. In 2021, which he was trying to get back to full health. And you finally got a good season in 2022. This is going to come yet again for Saquon Barkley this season in 2023 because he signed a 1-year prove-it deal this year. He wants that full contract, all right? This 1-year deal is just, hey, you're getting more than the norm, that franchise tag. And, hey, Barkley, can you do it one more time? If he does, he's going to have an absolutely huge payday, all right? And I believe he can do that, all right? So if we get that 2018 or 2019 Saquon Barkley, the sky is the limit. He still has that upside. If we're looking at the depth chart of the New York Giants, as you can see, that running back room has no one to come against Barkley, all right? Matt Breida barely got any touches last year. Eric Gray is a nobody. Gary Bradwell is a nobody. And Jayshon Corbin, I never even heard of him. Also, we are happy that they acquired wide receivers and a tight end. We want Daniel Jones to become more of a passing threat, all right? They need that fear from Daniel Jones, all right? So they have to have 8 men in the box. to go around Saquon Barkley. You need things to open up opportunities for this offense, because when they get in that red zone, they're going to be looking for their best player. That's going to be number 1, Saquon Barkley, and then number 2 would be Darren Waller. All right, so there's still high upside here for Saquon Barkley in round 2. Love him this year, and he is a must get. In round number 3, the guy you need to be getting will be Calvin Ridley of the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, yes, he's been gone for 2 years. That's all we hear, and that's all we hear out of all these fantasy gurus and all these guys that know so much. They give you answers of, I don't know, oh, he's been gone for too long, and they give you that excuse. But do we know what Calvin Ridley was before he left? All right, before the injury and before the suspension, he was an elite route runner. That is the big key here. A lot of these gurus just want to put, hey, they stick that one tag on him, he hasn't played in a while, and throw him to the wayside. But that is not true. That's what you're missing out on value if you want to do that. Right? If you want to listen to those guys, don't listen to me. But as you can see, in 2020, he had his premier year. Don't forget, Calvin Ridley was playing alongside of Julio Jones for most of his career. Once he was gone, he became that number 1 guy. 143 targets, 90 receptions, 1,300 receiving yards, over 2,000 air yards, and 9 TDs. Absolutely phenomenal season from Calvin Ridley. The reason why he was so productive. And I'm going to show you the results of 2021 right here when he got injured. Before he got injured, the reason why he's so dangerous, the reason why he's an alpha wide receiver, the reason why he's a perfect fit for Trevor Lawrence and this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Number 1, Christian Kirk is a slot wide receiver, all right? He's still going to get his. That's fine. But there's a ton of targets here for Calvin Ridley to usurp and become that number 1 guy. And what we're looking at here is route win rate, all right? We're looking at his route win rate during that year that he got injured. We're not going to look at the explosive season, all right? 51% route win rate. That's number 5 out of all wide receivers. His win rate versus man was 49.4. That's top 3 out of all wide receivers, okay? So you can even see against zone, it was even higher for him to have that total win rate at 51%. So guys, do not shy away from Calvin Ridley this year. If you looked at any of the practice clips and the OTA clips, he is jumping off that line with great precision and speed. This man is ready for his 2023 season. He has a chip on his shoulder, and he is a must-get in round 3. In round 4, the guy you want to get and is a must-have this year is Jeudy from the Denver Broncos. Yes, we've been waiting on this guy year after year, man. But I think finally this is the culmination. All right, we should have seen things coming when you saw Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. All right, we should have understood that just wasn't a good mix. They were banking on, I have to keep saying this. Why do I have to keep saying this? This is why this happened. And I should have been more aggressive in this scenario, all right? Nathaniel Hackett was only hired because they were banking on Aaron Rodgers, all right? They were banking on Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver, and he did not. And the backup plan was Russell Wilson, and that just doesn't mix, okay? Oil and water don't mix, okay? So that's what happened. They were trying to force Russell Wilson to run the Aaron Rodgers offense, and that's just not Russell Wilson. Once Nathaniel Hackett was gone, you saw a strong finish from Russell Wilson in that end of the second half of the year, all right? That's what happened. Now you look, what happened with the Jets? They had Nathaniel Hackett. He's the offensive coordinator, and who do the Jets have? Aaron Rodgers. It all makes sense, okay? You got to put it together like that. So Jeudy, last year, obviously, had 100 targets. That was a positive. Just missed 1,000 receiving yards, despite the fact that it was a very poor season from Russell Wilson. So there's still a ton of upside here, and the acquisition of Sean Payton is going to skyrocket this offense. All right, Russell Wilson having a bad year is just an anomaly. He's been on a record pace year after year of setting new records. He's been a top 5 quarterback. Let's calm it down. A top 10 quarterback for a very long time. All right, Russell Wilson is solidified. All right, he already has a championship, so we already understand that. So this bad year we see, we're going to put it on Nathaniel Hackett. And with Sean Payton coming into the fold, you know that he means business, and they're going to take their game to the next level. Now, with Jerry Jeudy in that second half of the season from 2022, in this 9-week sample here, he had 6 out of those 9 weeks as a top 25 wide receiver. 16.6, 18.3, 33.3, 17.7, 14.6, and 24.3. So you see the upside here in Jerry Jeudy. Now, the thing that we're going to solidify with Jerry Jeudy here, getting number 1 usage, is because they lost 2 guys that we're going to factor in this very crowded wide receiver room. Now it's less. Now it's more solidified for these first 3 here with Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, and Marvin Mims. They just lost Tim Patrick. He has a season-ending injury, and KJ Hamler is going to be out for a very, very long time with his ailment. All right, so it's already clarified that Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims are going to be the 1, 2, 3. Marvin Mims has some upside here going really, really late because he's going to step into a scenario here and is going to get some more opportunities to get on that field. And he was the first draft pick of Sean Payton. He traded up to get Marvin Mims. So that's going to be a good selection for him if you're looking at Marvin Mims a little bit later. So we love Jerry Jeudy this year in round 4. Go get him. In round number 5, the guy you must have will be Damien Pierce of the Houston Texans, all right? So in the beginning of your draft, you probably went heavy wide receiver. Maybe you grabbed yourself a top-tier quarterback and maybe 1 running back. You want to have a number 2 running back to pair alongside of your elite running back. Damien Pierce is that perfect guy, and he has high upside to finish top 10 out of all running backs as well, right? Damien Pierce last year in his rookie season, he finished with 939 yards, 4.3 yards a carry, had 30 receptions, 165 receiving yards, and only 5 touchdowns. This was a very poor Houston Texans offense. The only bright spot was Damien Pierce. The reason why he had so limited points is because of Davis Mills. Davis Mills was not efficient, and he struggled moving the ball down the field with this offense. So it really was just the Damien Pierce show. All right, you saw him taking tons of carries, okay? Tons of carries. His games, well over 20 carries for Damien Pierce. He had to put the team on his back, and you saw the wear and tear, all right? So if we're looking at his game log, he struggled the first 2 games, but then you saw high upside from week 3 all the way to week 10. He had 18.1, 25.9, 20.3, 15.7, 14.1, 13.9, and 12.2, all right? He was getting a high snap share. The wear and tear affected him, and as you saw, he weakened all the way to week 14, and then he got injured. So we understand what happened with Damien Pierce, all right? The acquisition of Devin Singletary is going to benefit Damien Pierce. We want Damien Pierce to last throughout the entire season, all right? So because we have this big upside here with CJ Stroud as the QB, he's going to be able to move the football down the field and get the Houston Texans in scenarios in the red zone to have high upside for Damien Pierce to either run that football in or receive the ball as well. He has that upside to do both things. And Damien Pierce right now at the ADP of 64.3 is a absolute huge value. If this was any other year, if this wasn't a year of guys going heavy wide receiver, you would be getting Damien Pierce in round 3. We're talking about a guy that can have well over 1,000 yards. He's going to have well over 250 carries, and he has upside to get 10 TDs. All right, so Damien Pierce is a must get in round number 5. So that was our first installment of guys you do want to draft 1 through 5. Rounds 6 through 10 is going to be coming very soon. And then guys, if you want to know the guys you do not want to draft, click these links down below.